Hey, what's up, guys? Today I wanted to pretend that I had the ability of actually creating a Pokemon for Pokemon Unite. And specifically, the Pokemon that I wanted to talk about today was Arboliva. Arboliva is one of those really interesting designs from Generation 9. It's honestly one of the first Pokemon that I actually shiny hunted. And I decided to make this Pokemon a defender specifically because of how I use it in the game. If you look at its stats, which I pulled up on Cerebi, you'll see that it's obviously mostly a special attacker with a special attack of 125. But if you look at its defenses, it's also pretty high. And like I mentioned in the main series games, I would also give it the item that when it's on grassy terrain, it will increase its special defense. Arboliva evolves from Smoliv, which evolves into Doliv, and finally becomes Arboliva. But anyways, regardless of how I use it in the main series game, we're here to talk about Pokemon Unite, specifically how Arboliva works in Pokemon Unite. So let's start off with just the basic description of Arboliva. It says Arboliva is a very compassionate and loves sharing its nutrient-rich oils with other Pokemon in need. If you look at the stars on the right side, you'll see that I made it mostly a endurance Pokemon. Again, it's defensive. It has okay offensive, and it will be somewhat supportive to the rest of the team if you're using it with a specific move set, which we'll see in just a second. You'll start off at level 1 with Smoliv, evolving into Doliv at level 5, and becoming Arboliva at level 7. The passive ability, I decided to make that a little bit interesting, very different and unique from anything else that is in the game currently. The passive ability will be Harvest, which says that when the Pokemon is below 10%, of its health, it drops a citrus berry nearby that can only be picked up by itself or a Pokemon from its team. I do think that this could be somewhat overpowered, kinda. Just defending, it depends on how high Arboliva's defenses are. But if we needed to nerf this a little bit, it could be like, if the health is below 10%, that means that it'll drop a citrus berry, but it can only be picked up by someone from its team, not by itself, right? So you still end up going down, but again, you provided some support for your team by dropping that citrus berry nearby. And then for the basic attack, it just says that the third attack will be boosted and it will be charged with a sticky oil, reducing opposing Pokemon speed. This specifically reminds me of like the Gumi line and the way that Gudra can use its boosted attack to slow enemies down for a short period. So I'm thinking about the same thing, but instead of with like a gooey slime that Gudra would have, it would be because of an oil that's attached to it. Another thing that I thought was instead of applying a slow effect because of the oil, maybe it could apply sort of like a burning effect, kind of like your cooking oil type of thing. So that could go either way. Now for the first basic move, it's going to be tackle. I mean, tackle is just tackle, right? You just lunge at the enemy. And in this case, I also wanted to slow for a short period of time. Think of it like, in real life, it would be like you take an olive and throw it at someone. Of course, it will probably leave a little bit of the oils on you. So again, it should slow the enemy down or burn them, whichever route we take with that. Now, there's two moves that you can pick. One of them would be Strength Sap, which functions in a similar fashion as Strength Sap in the main series game, where it steals the power from the opposing Pokemon and reduces their defenses, but in this case it'll also increase Arboliva's attack stat. So the more enemies are in the area, the higher the attack stat will be. So it's just going to compound depending on how many enemies it took, like it used strength sap on. But it's going to be really cool because you're going to reduce their defenses, but also increase your attack. So whoever you hit, you're going to hit pretty hard. The other move you can pick would be Synthesis, which says the user creates an oil deluge around itself, healing itself and other Pokemon nearby. Opposing Pokemon are slowed for a short period. Again, I keep applying slowed effect to basically every move because I'm imagining that anytime you come in contact with this tree, you will get oils on you, right? And in this particular case, deluge is more of like a flood, right? So there's gonna be like a flood of oils coming out of this Pokemon, which will be applying the slow effect to enemies, but it will also be healing any friendlies nearby. Now for the second basic move, it's gonna be Absorb, which is, think of it kind of like Giga Drain for Venusaur, but on a much smaller scale, of course. So you'll do damage to the opponent and recover a small amount of HP in return. Now the other two moves that you can pick, one of them will be Endure, which states the user sets down its roots and is able to neglect all damage for 3 seconds. The user is unable to move during this time and will be targeted as a priority by opposing Pokemon. I do think that this is very, very powerful, and this is where Arboliva is both defensive and supportive. Think about going into Rayquaza fight and you use Endure. All of a sudden, all the enemies are attacking you instead of attacking your team or Rayquaza, and for 3 seconds, none of that damage that they're doing to you is doing any damage to you, right? So they're hitting you, but it's doing nothing for 3 seconds. And that'll be enough time to either have more support come in from your team, or hopefully just deflect them for long enough that you can really turn the tides in the match. The other move is Energy Ball. And this move states that the user draws power from nature and fires a ball of energy at the opposing Pokemon. Upon impact, the ball of energy will explode, causing damage to surrounding Pokemon. I feel like the Energy Ball attack synergizes very well with the Strength Sap move. So imagine you're using Strength Sap first, which reduces the defenses of the opposing Pokemon and increases your attack. And then you let out an Energy Ball. That'll do massive damage. And then the other two that would work well together would be Endure and Synthesis. Because again, let's say you're going into a Rayquaza fight or a big team fight, and you go ahead, you use Synthesis, so now you have like this oil around you, like this flooding of oil around you, which your teammates can come near you and heal themselves, but you immediately use Endure, which also directs all enemy attacks directly to you rather than your teammates, and you are not taking damage for 3 seconds. That is very, very powerful. And again, it kind of leads me to think that it's kind of a supportive role, but you're also really defending your team the whole time. Now, for the Unite move, it's called Aromatic Oils. And it states the user encases itself in a rich aromatic oil cocoon, which greatly reduces incoming damage and forces opposing Pokemon to be attracted to the aroma of its oils, leaving them unable to attack for a short period of time. Any Pokemon affected by its oils will have its speed reduced after the aroma dissipates. So, what exactly is this Unite move doing? You use the Unite move, and you can move around the map, and the enemy Pokemon will be attracted to you, so they're gonna be forced to move in the direction that you are moving the whole time. So again, it's a way of directing enemy attacks towards you and also diverting their attention towards you instead of the rest of the team or whatever the goal is currently, right? So if they're trying to score, they wouldn't be able to score. If they're trying to take down Rayquaza, they wouldn't be able to do that. If they're trying to, I don't know, take Reggie Lecky or Reggie Steele, they wouldn't be able to do that because for a short period of time, they're just having to be focused on you because you united next to them. Here you can see a sheet with everything together. I would like for you guys to let me know what you think about this build. I tried to make it unique and use some of the moves that Arboliva actually uses, but make it different and interesting to use as a new addition to Pokemon Unite. Of course, this is all theoretical, this is all make believe. I'm just trying to share my opinions and my ideas, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it and honestly, how you could make it better. Or if there's any other Pokemon that you guys would like to maybe problem solve, troubleshoot, and try and create a nice build with some of your favorite Pokemon. Leave some comments down below so I can work on something new. Thanks.